Houston, Texas. The coffee that I presented today was roasted with the intent of delivering a complex, complementary balance of sweetness, acidity, and body. Furthermore, I wanted to complement those aspects with fragrance and aroma that exuded qualities of honey, nutmeg spice, and brown sugars. To dive into the sweetness, I found that the coffee had the sweetness akin of golden raisin, dried fruit. It also had some complementary chocolate flavors, dark chocolate undertones, as well as almond. Furthermore, the acidity was very pleasant. It was my intent to not make it too overpowering, again, striving for balance. And so what I found is that it had qualities akin to that of an orange blossom citrus and chamomile. So how did I arrive to this cup profile? I received the coffee samples, and I first performed an assessment of the physical characteristics of the coffee. A few things that I noticed is that the coffee was very high in density. It had low moisture, and it also had varying screen sizes. As a roaster, it's key that you have efficient energy input into coffee, and so one of the things that you like to control are the screen sizes. It allows for even roasting. So with that in mind, I did what I could to separate out some of the smaller beans, so basically pre-sorted a lot of the smaller beans, some of which were like pea berries, others are really tiny, smaller than a 14 screen size, as well as separate out some of the larger beans. And so this is kind of a sample of what I pre-sorted. In addition to that, knowing that it was high density, I knew that whatever I roasted, I needed to cup just to measure whether or not it was underdeveloped. So that was something very important to me, to cup it, check for underdevelopment. In terms of the moisture content, with it being low moisture, my plan going into my roasting profiles, was to keep my post-first crack development short, because I did not want to for it to run away from me. I wanted to maintain some of those origin characteristics while also highlighting my goal of complementary sweetness. With that said, I developed 4 batches, so basically 2.1 kilo batches each, and I used a controlling variable of time to first crack to modulate my roast profiles. So the range of time to first crack was between a range of 7 minutes and 50 seconds up to approximately 8 minutes and 50 seconds. And the other variables, such as charge temperature, end temperature, I tried to keep within parameters. So I had about 350 to 355 charge and 380, 385 end temp. One thing to consider is that I roasted on a 6 kilo roaster. So with 2 kilo batches, I had to take into consideration the amount of heat and the small thermal mass. So counter to normal convention, when you'd have high density coffee and you hit it with a lot of heat, I actually roasted this with a low charge and an extended soak. So once I finalized all of my batches, I took that to the cupping table with the clear intent of finding the most complementary coffee with the most complexity, offering something that had the balance of sweetness and acidity. That ended up being my profile B. It actually wasn't the nicest ROR curve, but it actually was the best cup on the table. And so I chose that to highlight those qualities that I mentioned earlier, the dark chocolate, the almond sweetness, paired with the golden raisin dried fruit, as well as the acidity akin to the orange blossom chamomile. So very present, very lingering mouthfeel, very medium body, and again, just a pleasant aroma. All in all, I felt like this was a very easy cup to drink, and I hope you guys enjoyed the results. That is my time.